Hello, I am Benjamin Goodson, and I love to learn. The good thing about this speech was that I was able to pick a topic and dive into it. So I was able to learn all that I wanted to learn about it. And the topic that I chose was wind energy. It kind of might sound a little bit boring, but there are some very interesting things that kind of go into it. So what I'm going to be discussing in this expansive topic is kind of how we harness energy, the effectiveness of it, and the practicality of wind energy. So, just taking it historically, wind was kind of used for many things. We used it as kind of our first sources of automation. We used it for mechanical power, turning a shaft to like run a stone mill and stuff like that. So, without it, we would kind of be probably still doing stuff at a different, like in a more difficult way, if that kind of makes sense. So since we do have wind, let's talk about how it works, because why not? Um, and this is kind of what we're here for, harnessing the wind. So what is wind? That is the first question that we need to kind of answer, and I think EDF Energy kind of states it pretty well. They say wind energy, or wind, sorry, is caused by the uneven heating of the atmosphere by the sun. So you kind of take that as you have hot and cold just because of the uneven heating. That kind of makes them want to go towards each other. And this whole thing of wanting to go towards each other kind of causes what we know as wind. So now that we have that, and we can also say that wind energy is a kinetic energy. It's a very basic form of kinetic energy. So when you have that kinetic energy, how are you able to harness electrical energy from that? So the way we do that is we take, or the way they do that, because, you know, I'm not necessarily part of it, but what I've learned is that they take a wind turbine. It's got blades on it, and whenever the wind hits them, it will rotate those blades. So it spins the blades, which kind of turns a shaft, and that changes the kinetic energy, which is the wind, into mechanical energy spinning a shaft. And that mechanical energy is then put into a generator, which will change that mechanical energy into electrical. So it is a very kind of like step-by-step system that is kind of run. And it's, in a way, kind of oddly simple. But having that kind of stair-stepped process kind of takes some of the efficiency out of it, which is kind of why you'll never get 100% efficient on collecting energy from the wind. But how efficient have we noticed wind turbines to be? So EDFenergy.com says that they are generally 30 to 40% effective. Now this is from England, so kind of the geography of where you're at kind of changes the effectiveness of them. I have another source here that is regenpower.com, and they're from Australia, and they say that their wind turbines get nearly 60% effectiveness. So Australia, England to Australia, there's a difference there. So it would kind of make sense that there is a difference in their effectiveness of the wind turbines that they have. So when do wind turbines work? They work pretty much any time of day, any time of night. They work any time. But EDF Energy kind of found that they work 70 to 80% of the day. There are certain times that they don't work, just like some of the limitations that they have are they don't collect power during strong wind or light wind. And that's just because of if it's too strong, it could break the wind turbine, so they have to have ways to kind of like stop it and slow it down. So another limitation of their effectiveness, Elemental Green says they're noisy. Wind turbines can be noisy, and they say this because the noise that they make could disrupt like people and houses and residential areas. So that's why you don't really see them in those type of cases and scenarios. As you can kind of see in this, if you can see it up here, we can see like an open area with a wind turbine. You see trees, and then you see buildings. With that, you can kind of see how wind turbines like just emptiness. They like to be able to be in the middle of nowhere because they like nothing to be blocking the wind. Because anything that's in front of the wind decreases the efficiency of the wind turbine. So houses, buildings, trees, all kind of make a wind turbine less efficient. So some of the practical places that you'll see them is you can see them in the middle of the ocean. I mean, not in the middle, like right off the coast of the ocean. You can see them in big lakes. In the middle of lakes is sometimes where they're put. But you can also see them, like I said, in the middle of nowhere. And energy.gov says that ideal places for wind, ideal wind sites are in remote locations. So what are some of the impracticalities that this brings? This kind of showcases how important infrastructure is, because when you put them in these random places and these less than ideal places, you kind of have to have infrastructure in order to work on them and have them there. So what are some places that wind turbines like to be? You can kind of a lot of times see wind turbines in rural areas. You can see them like near farms and stuff because they're in that same area. Farms need flat land with nothing really going on. Wind turbines also like that. So, as I close, I hope I was able to inform you on some of the ideas and maybe make you think about stuff that you've not thought about before. And once again, I talked about the process of harnessing wind, the effectiveness of generating power from the wind, the practicality of wind turbines, and as I said at the beginning of the speech, I love to learn, and I just hope that I was able to accomplish my goal of informing you a little bit more about wind turbines. Thank you.